Have you ever stood at the edge of a balcony and suddenly imagined jumping off, not because you wanted to, but because your brain just offered the thought, don't worry, you're not broken. You're not secretly unhinged. These intrusive, bizarre, even disturbing thoughts, they're actually a perfectly normal part of being human. Today, we're diving into four of the most alarming thoughts your brain might serve up, and the fascinating science behind why they happen. Even two, the most stable minds. You're driving down the highway when the thought pops up, what if I jerked the wheel and swerved into traffic? Or you're on a rooftop and your brain whispers, jump, sounds terrifying, right? But this has a name, high place phenomenon, and it's shockingly common. A 2012 study found that more than 50% of people have experienced this exact thought. And guess what? It's not a sign of suicidal intent. In fact, it's often the opposite. Neuroscientists believe this may be a misfiring safety mechanism. Your brain detects danger and overreacts by giving you a worst-case scenario alert. Dr. Jennifer Hames, the researcher who named the phenomenon, suggests it's the brain saying, hey, that's dangerous. Step back, but it gets translated in your consciousness as jump. So, ironically, that scary thought might just mean your survival instincts are strong. You're holding a baby and your brain whispers, what if I dropped her? Or you're cutting vegetables and suddenly think, what if I stabbed my partner? Stop, breathe, you're not a monster. These are called intrusive thoughts, and they happen to about 90% of people at some point. According to cognitive psychologist Dr. David Clark, these thoughts are not reflections of your desires, but rather your brain testing boundaries. They often appear in people with high empathy, precisely because the thought is so repulsive to them. It's like your mind saying, here's the absolute worst thing you could imagine. See how fast you reject it. Intrusive thoughts become problematic only when people attach meaning to them, but if you can recognize them for what they are, random misfires, they lose their power. Ever looked at your closest friends and thought, what if none of this is real? What if everyone is pretending? That eerie, simulation-like suspicion is known as derealization or existential doubt. It's unsettling, but also incredibly human. These thoughts often occur during high stress or emotionally detached periods. Your brain, overwhelmed, temporarily disconnects from reality to process it, and in a strange twist, it's connected to high abstract thinking. Philosophers like Descartes, Plato, and even Buddhist monks have questioned what is real in moderation. This kind of thinking can actually signal deep intelligence and self-awareness, but when it spirals, it can overlap with anxiety or dissociative disorders, so staying grounded is key. You send a text and instantly regret it. You replay a conversation from 3 years ago, obsessing over every word. Your brain won't let go. This is known as rumination, and while it's linked to anxiety and OCD, it's also a trait of the overanalyzing, emotionally intelligent brain. Neuroscience shows that people who ruminate often have a hyperactive default mode network DMN, the part of the brain responsible for self-reflection. This means your brain is wired for introspection, but when unbalanced, it becomes a trap, like a car engine revving in neutral, powerful, but going nowhere. The key? Learning when to shift gears and when to press the brakes. Our minds are messy, mysterious, and sometimes a little alarming, but those strange, intrusive, or even frightening thoughts, they don't define you. They're part of a brilliant, adaptive, endlessly creative brain trying to make sense of a complex world. Instead of fearing your thoughts, get curious about them, because in that curiosity, you might discover a hidden strength, empathy, awareness, insight, and maybe, just maybe, you'll find that being weird is actually what makes you wonderful. The key? Learning when to shift gears and when to press the brakes. So, have you had any of these strange thoughts? Which one caught you off guard? Drop a comment below. Let's normalize this together. And hey, if this video helped you see your brain a little differently, smash that like button, subscribe, and hit the bell, because your mind has more hidden powers than you think, and we're just getting started.